2015 Tony Award nominations were announced. Two of Broadway's leading ladies, favorite ladies, Kristen Chenoweth and Kelli O'Hara, were among those nominated for Best Actress in a Musical. I'm here in New York City, where I caught up with Kelli O'Hara just hours before she took the stage the other day in The King and I. She was right at home, making brunch for friends and catching up with the kiddos. Congratulations on the Tony Awards. Congratulations on your success in your career. And
thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting us in here today for brunch of all things. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
So there's anything you can't do? You cook, you sing, you...
Thanks. Oh, there's plenty, believe me. But I think one of the most important things in my life is that I have other things besides my work. And that's the noise you hear, the children.
That's not noise, that's life though, right? That's great.
I'm doing an interview. You want to go watch the movie?
Seems like this is fantastic.
It's fantastic and puts everything in perspective. And I can never take myself too seriously when I'm, barely getting a shower and I'm headed to work. It's not like I can, get massages every day and zen out and prepare for my show. It's part of the balance. So everything seems really present and in the moment, and it's great.
Because this seems a little surprising to me, and I'll say that out of ignorance. Coming from Oklahoma City, I think of Broadway and the bright lights in the big city.
And the sirens. And then you see a home.
This is homeland.
Yeah.
This is cool. And you do have a fantastic view.
I do have a good view.
Great natural sound.
Yeah. And that's the city, and it's my soundtrack, and it inspires me, and sometimes makes me angry, and sometimes makes me passionate and full of energy, and I just think that that's the best part of being a performer, is to have reality feeding you all the time. So that's how I choose to live.
Well, congratulations on all of that.
Thank you.
Tell me about Lincoln Center Theater, and you've been there a few times. But what goes through your mind? Like when I see you later today and you walk out on stage, what's going on through your mind, through your eyes? What are you seeing, smelling, feeling,
Yeah, that's a good question. The energy of the city on the way to work, when you realize that all of this is going on while you're in this 3-hour kind of train ride doing the show for these people that are in your audience, it can do two things. It can completely fill you up with like this mad energy that feeds your soul, but it can also really make you understand that we're only a piece of this city. We're only a tiny little piece of the crazy magic that's happening all over the city. There are hundreds of other things just like mine going on in the city, and there are 1,000 people at each of those. Hopefully, if everything's selling well. So you're a part of an amazing whole. I think with acting, you can get in this kind of, you're made to feel like sometimes you're the only one doing it, and people want to try to sometimes make you feel like it's the most important, you're the most important thing. If you ever get on that wagon, you're in trouble. Yeah. The best thing to do is to realize that you're an amazing part of a whole, just a piece of it, sometimes a very small piece of it.
Is that a comforting thing to find, hey, I'm part of the rhythm here?
Yes.
It keeps you from being overwhelmed?
Yeah, it keeps you from your ego from getting too big. It also keeps from the pressure, feeling too much. It does feel like so much pressure when you're kind of the lead of a show and you want it to do well, you want it to be a good show, you want it to sell well for the producers, you want to make people happy, and so you put a lot on your shoulders. So if you can actually take a minute and realize that we're just specks of dust, and sometimes the weight of it can feel really empowering, but then other days when you need it to, you can say, hey, we're just trying to make people happy. It might succeed today, it might not. I'll come back again tomorrow and try again.
I'm blown away. We're 3 hours, less than 3 hours at this point, away from showtime. Mm-hmm. You're making brunch for friends.
Well, it's not a secret that I love food. I love to cook. I love the opportunity to be a friend, to be a wife and a mom and a very, very minor cook. I just love it. I like to pretend like I'm a better cook than I am. I was up way too late last night watching Chopped. I mean, it's just kind of my secret obsession. I love everything about that. So as much as I feel, I'm tired or my house is an absolute wreck, boy, I'm going to try this new frittata recipe, with some potato and onion and bacon. And that excited me, actually. It made me feel good this morning. And it'll feed the rest of my day. That and the mimosa. Yeah.
I picked up on something earlier today when you were talking about, hey, when there's an 8 o'clock showtime, it's a 3-hour show or whatever. You're eager to get back to these guys, aren't you?
Oh my God, like any mom or any parent, I think we'd say, oh man, it's going to feel really good when I can maybe step away and go to work or go see friends or whatever you're going to do. But if you're the kind of mom I am, you get to work and then it's the opposite. Oh, man, I wish I was with my kids. I got to get back. Sometimes I'm doing my makeup in the dressing room and FaceTiming because I don't want to be away from them. And sometimes they're with me. A lot of times they're with me at the theater. And it's such an exciting time in my life because I have little kids, and it's over in a flash. And I'm very aware of that. So even though I'm working, and I'm working hard, and I'm working full time, they're absolutely going to be a part of it, or I'm not going to do it. So that's the way I live my life. Yeah.
They like it. They like the theater life. They like being backstage.
Probably too much. I'm kind of like, whoa, hold up.
I'm guessing the castmates are probably like, oh,
well,
loving it as too. Right?
Yes, and you'll see that there are lots of beautiful children in my show, and this is one of the first times
Sure.
I've ever worked with such a big group of kids. And Owen, my son, he just can't wait to get there because he wants to see the kids, and they love him too, and they love Charlotte. So
how has that been? Was it a challenge working with a large cast of younger ones?
I thought it might be, and because they can be, they're so overzealous and they're really excited, and you kind of have to put their energy and kind of focus it. But these kids are really great. They're really dedicated to what they're doing, and they were chosen, for a reason. So we're having a good time over there, and they bring a lot of lightness to our company and make it a very positive place to work.
How's Ken Watanabe doing?
He's doing so well. I mean, he is a major talent. I mean, this guy is where he is, the biggest star in Japan, the biggest Japanese film star, and in America, and Oscar nominated. I mean, for a reason. He is so intense, and he gives 110% every single show. With such a divide. I mean, his language, he's worked so hard to learn the English language. He wasn't much of an English speaker before this, and the passion with which he works every day is it's palpable. It's inspiring. You can't help but jump on that train with him and take that ride. I'm so lucky to have him as a co-star.
Well, he's pretty lucky to have you as well.
Thank you. Thanks.
Let's go back a ways to OCU and Florence Birdwell.
Yes. This is an exciting time. Florence is going to come. I don't ever call her Florence. Her name is Mrs. Birdwell to me. I've known her my whole life, but I still call her that. She's going to come in May for a kind of a special trip with her family, and I think they're going to try to make a story of it because she's coming to see Kristen Chenoweth in her show, and then she's coming to see me in my show. And Kristen and I are both nominated for the same Tony Award. And I will say, everyone's talking about this Oklahoma Smackdown. Kristen and I we're so excited for Birdwell, because it's a moment of recognition for someone who deserves it so much that she has 2 students, up for the same very kind of small thing.
Up for a very big thing.
It's a big thing, but I mean, centered, like it's only 5 people in the whole population and so the fact that 2 of us are her students, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But it's for her that I feel like I get to honor her that way, and that excites me so much. And so whoever it is that takes away the prize, Chris and I are kind of hoping it's at least one of us, so
Sure.
that we can talk about Mrs. Birdwell and how much she's influenced us and so many others.
Is it fun being up against Kristen in 2 categories at least?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she has been such a inspiration for me. I mean, she got me my first agent because we were in the same studio. I mean, I came after her, but by the time I went to New York, she had already established herself here. She has been a supporter of me and me of her for 15 years. She just taught me how to do Bitmoji on my phone. So that is really integral to my social life right now.
So everyone's getting all these extra characters now that no, Kelli has learned.
Yes, I've learned.
She's learned the way of the emoji.
The emoji. And thanks to Kristen Chenoweth. And strangely, our emojis look very similar, except hers has more makeup. But so and we share. Kristen and I have always shared a best friend, so we've always kept up with each other. A girl named Erin Dilly. So. This is a healthy bit of competition, believe me. And Of course, I'll always want to win, but I'm getting really good at not winning. So at this point, so I'm actually really happy whichever way it goes, because
also getting really good at being nominated.
Well, thank you. That's a glass half full way of putting it, and I like that. But the performances have to be apples and oranges. So I really can't put too many eggs in the basket of that, because they're very different shows, completely different vehicles. So you can't really put a judgment on that. So, and I know that, so I can't get too invested.
What would your advice be to the students? Because we know right now they're going through finals, they're studying for all that stuff to get out,
right.
At least for this semester. Your advice to those students?
I feel like today you have to be on top of what is necessary, and you have to combine, you have to find a balance of an absolute passion for your craft and make that your first dedication. And then you have to understand how to make people understand about you. And that's something I wasn't necessarily aware of. I was not a salesman for myself. My advice, my personal advice would be, don't lean on that. Lean on your dedication to your craft. But I think today people would say, also learn about how to sell yourself. Marketing.
You're saying, hey, know exactly what you're doing when you step on stage, and know why.
Yes. My advice is, don't just depend on the marketing. Don't try to be famous for famous sake. Don't do something that you would regret or that is not a representation of you just to get known. If you're going to get out there, if you're going to put yourself out there in this big marketing world that we have today, do it because you're the best at what it is you're trying to sell. Your craft is your passion and your priority. Because at the end of the day, anybody can kind of get the door open, but you have to have what it takes to stay, you know? And so that's what I've learned over the years, is actually being re-invited to the party over and over again. I've had a lot of friends or a lot of people I know who get in the door and get invited to the first one, but they don't stick around. And I think if you want a long-lasting career, something that you can keep going this steadily up this way. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that one, because when a 20-year-old, 22-year-old hits the top of the mark, it's really exciting for 2 seconds. And then there's no way we can sustain this in this business. But what we can sustain is this, a slow climb. And that's my goal all the time.
Well, speaking of goals, what's next for you?
You know, this is like a 10-year fast track theater career that I feel like I've just been doing one show after another. And for me, it's time to take a little bit of a break. I'll be doing King and I for a while, and I'm so excited about that. But I do have 2 small children. I'm going to probably take just a beat to do, you know, some concert work, maybe do some smaller runs of things. There's always a little bit of television and film situations going on. But for me, it's kind of a journey of figuring out what's the next correct, fulfilling stage for me. And I kind of at the edge of wondering what that is right now.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
At some point when you get close to 40, isn't it weird how everybody kind of goes through that phase?
Yeah.
Where am I at? What am I doing? Am I good? Yeah, I'm
Do
good.
I need to make a change?
Yeah.
Some people say the healthiest thing is to actually make a change, you know, I don't think I'll ever stop singing, of course, and I'll never kind of venture away from the arts, but I want to change. I always want to change it up a bit, you know. Teaching is a big thing for me.
You seem happy, and congratulations on the success on stage and then the home life as well.
Thank you.
That is important and fantastic. One big, major question for you, though. Where's a good place to get pizza?
Oh, my gosh. Well, in New York, I mean, New York City pizza is famous. I mean, Ray's, just original Ray's pizza is the best pizza. I'm not going to send you, I mean, you know, you have the little places that are famous, Patsy's and John's Pizzeria or whatever, but just go buy a piece of Ray's original piece, but make sure they put it in the oven and they get it nice and crispy. Yeah. Just say that, okay? Right. Nice and crispy.
I'll say Kelli O'Hara too.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Who? Here's your pizza."
The 2015 Tony Awards will be June 7th. You can watch them on CBS at 7 p.m. right down the street at Radio City Music Hall.